What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it's time for the weekly rotation, and we've got some varieties. You can see some of the offerings here. We had some cooler days. I didn't wear super heavy fragrances, but we had some cooler days, and I switched it up a bit. It wasn't just freshies. So we've legitimately falling into autumn weather most days here in the Florida Panhandle, and it's been really good. And there's been some variety, several new things to the collection in this particular rotation. Some decent compliment getters from my experience this week. Had a lot of out and about activities going on throughout the week, so there was opportunities to see if anything was going to, do what people are looking for and pull in a couple of compliments. And a few did in certain instances. But it's week number 253 in the weekly rotation, so stay tuned. Starting off on Sunday, I didn't wear anything out the shower this particular evening. I don't recall if I did. I didn't have anything lined up. I don't think I did. But it's one from Dumont that was sent to me by Parfum Box. I just did a full review on it. Reminds me a lot of Parfums de Marly Altair, a bit of Montal and Wood and Spices, Nico Sculpture, that type of profile, that orange blossom focused profile with Dumont Axon Solo. This is actually really surprisingly really good. It's a lemony type of citrus, has that orange blossom smell, vanilla, woods, spices. Super enjoyable. Turns out the wife loves this one. She likes it more than I do. I think it's good. It's just not I need to keep reaching for this. Not too many things do that to me these days because I'm always testing new stuff. But with her, she digging the hell out of this one. So, and it is really good stuff. Above average performance, not a beast. Not anywhere close to being a beast. Very cheap. Mid $30 price point before any discount codes. The quality here is actually pretty good, as is most Dumont fragrances. The Nitro line a little bit more on the chemically synthetic side, but most of their offerings are pretty good quality, and this pretty much on par with a lot of that stuff for a really good price. Definitely worth checking out if you like that profile. Don't want to spend PDM money. This might be something worth considering. It was quite enjoyable during the day, and nothing out the shower that evening. Axon Solo from Dumont. Moving into Monday, there's always that day of the week where I consider to be the best smelling day of the week, and this duo definitely did it. It's my favorite fragrance released this year, my current favorite fragrance, tongue twister, favorite fragrance in my collection. During the day, I went with Zaharoff Signature Seraphim Blue, one of George's two newest releases. Get that to focus, there we go. And as per usual, juice level continues to drop. I'll have close to half of this bottle done by the end of the year. Got I would say a little bit more than a third of it gone already. I would say it's probably 22, 23 ml missing, which is crazy. You know how often I can say I sprayed 20 ml of one fragrance in a year? And this has only been in 3 months. It just doesn't happen these days. It hasn't happened in years and years and years for me. I just love this fragrance. But this particular profile really speaks to me. It's wintergreen, minty fresh, aquatic, floral and powdery, a little creamy tropical. It's nice and clean and musky and sweet. It's just, man, very coastal. Coastal, I find, is always a really good word to describe this fragrance. Really good longevity, not suffocatingly strong. High quality stuff. I just love it. I encourage you to get a sample from the link below and try it for yourself. You may not feel like it's 10 out of 10 like I do, which this is one of the only 2 10 out of 10s I've ever given. For me, definitely 10 out of 10. During the day, my favorite, Signature Seraphim Blue. Let me get that to focus one more time before we move on. That's a busy background. There we go. So, and out the shower, it was time for a good shave. Been a little bit. Figured why not. Shave set for business over pleasure. Here's the aftershave splash. And of course, I gave myself some sprays of the fragrance. For those of you newer to the channel, what's that? Is that your logo, Ross? That is my logo. This was my first fragrance with Zaharoff called Business Over Pleasure. So, and there was a shave set and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's my jam. For those of you unfamiliar, there's me. It's a playing card design. George in the suit, Me and a Polo with flat bill. So this is an iris fragrance. This was built for the office. Very safe fragrance with nuance. Get a lot of bergamot citrus at the top. Sichuan pepper gives you a quick hit of some spice. You've got ginger that gives it more of a creamy spice, the way this ginger comes across with the Florentine iris. Nice and powdery, creamy Palo Santo, smoky Gaiac wood. Ambery, man, it's just so good. And it just continues to get better as it gets richer and matures over time. It's so good. Call it bias, call it whatever. Yeah, it's my fragrance. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. It's so good. Long discontinued because somebody newer people to the channel be like, oh, where can I buy this? You got to look for somebody selling their bottle. It's been discontinued for a couple of years. When we do these Z Creator runs, it's a limited time, one batch. When they're gone, they're gone. And this was one of the 2 times we did it. Evening Mystique was the follow-up to this for the second fragrance that I did. But, man, never gets old. Never gets old, and I was definitely in the mood for it. Out the shower, had a good shave. With business over pleasure. Moving into Tuesday. Picked this one up at the rack store recently. I really need to try the original. This is one of the 3 flankers. I've never tried the original. It's Polo Earth, Antilles Vetiver, and yeah, this is old school right here. This is old school citrus aromatic, has some greener elements. Creamy, musky, citrus, woodsy. Quality ingredients, too. I gotta say, they use some quality ingredients. I believe this is water-based. What the original was. 97% natural origin ingredients. So quality stuff. Definitely smells of quality. It was $50 at Ross Dress for Less. I was surprised to run across it. It was a no-brainer pickup for me. It's actually really nice. None of that modern synthetics loaded with tonka bean, amberwood, ambroxan, no generic aquatics here. This is actually just a really well-rounded masculine fragrance with some quality ingredients that has a refinement. It's very impressive for Ralph Lauren, I gotta say. I'd love to try the entire line. With the flankers, there's 4 fragrances in total. This is the only one I've tried, and it was a great one to start with, honestly. It's damn good. The vetiver here is not super earthy. It's a fresh, woodsy type of vetiver. Just loving it. Really good stuff during the day. Ralph Lauren's Polo Earth, Antilles Vetiver, and then when I got out the shower, we switched it up to Super Bright Citrus. Paris Corner's North Stag Quatre, their take on Afternoon Swim. Been a little bit since I wore it. Just like the bottle color would indicate, the juice matches. Super, super fresh orange. Do 3 sprays for the gym. What the hell? It's good gym fragrance, too. Get around 6 hours. Mega, mega fresh. Super clean, musky, mouth-watering mandarin orange. I don't get much of the ginger. If anything, it just makes it crisp and bright. It's so good. I don't know what else to say outside of that. It's so good. This is my favorite Afternoon Swim clone, and I've got a handful, roughly, Afternoon Swim clones at this point, and this is the freshest of the bunch. Love it. Out the shower, North Stag Quatre from Paris Corner. Moving into Wednesday, the way this ended up smelling, I wasn't expecting. It was total blind buy. Even seeing the notes, I didn't really, I don't know, I guess I just wasn't prepared for it to be so tropical, beachy, sweet type. Like, think 1 Million Parfum, but not the same beachy, sweet fragrance, but definitely there's similarities. It's Valentino, born in Roma, the gold Uomo. This is one of my favorite designer releases of the year. This got 2 compliments aside from my wife the day I wore it. Sillage in this is really good on my skin. And I don't go nose blind to it easy at all. For 4 or 5 hours straight, it was just like, it felt like it would never calm down. I was constantly getting pretty decent strength whiffs of it for hours. Love the way this smells. Very solar, creamy, sunscreen-esque, but has kind of this tropical fruity sweet without any fruits. It's woodsy. It's a creamy, woody fragrance. I've seen people compare it to 1 Million Gold. That's loaded with cedar. That's different. That's a different fragrance. Like, there's some similarity, but this is far superior to me. It's way better fragrance. So good. I'm so glad I grabbed this. This is definitely going to be in the upper tier of, best designers released for the year for me personally when I do those annual recap videos at the end of the year. This is definitely going to be up there. I strongly encourage you to test this one out. Love, love, love this fragrance, and it's no slouch in performance. During the day, the Gold, the newest flanker in the Born in Roma series. Then we got the shower I wanted fresh. Went with the Elysium clone from Fomo Parfums, a Fraghead's Asylum. I haven't worn it in a while. Figured why not? This is a more woodsy take on Elysium. It does have the grapefruit, the metallic citrus smell. They list oud, but I get no oud. There's zero funk. If anything, it just enhances that woodiness I was speaking of because it is more of a woodsy take. Just smells really good. You know, I don't think I would call it the best Elysium clone I've ever smelled, but it's a pretty damn good one, especially for the money. I mean, you really can't go wrong here. They did a good job. The quality's pretty good. Pretty good performer. Out the shower, Fomo Parfums, a Fraghead's Asylum. Moving into Thursday was a cheapy type of day. I found some Lattafa fragrances at Burlington recently, and I decided to go with Opulent Blue Oud, which, obviously, beautiful bottle, but seems like a lot of people don't really care for this one. I do find it has some strong similarities to Oud Blue Notes from Mancera. Now, it's not as powdery. It's not as fruity, but this is a little bit more on the aquatic side. It's peppered fresh. Does have that creamy, powdery edge, but not as extreme, which Blue Notes isn't extreme, but when you compare it to this, it's much more creamy and powdery overall. It has that kind of floral smell. I could have swore there was some fresh rose in here. When I saw the notes, no rose, so maybe there is and they don't list it. I don't know, whatever. It smelled like a fresh rose. Oh, man, but I do like this. Look, it's super chemically synthetic. I'm not going to argue against it smelling like the $16.99 that I did pay for it, but some cheap fragrances just smell good even though they smell cheap, and that's what I think about this one. I understand why some may not like it. It seems like more people don't like it than do. This is clearly one of the less popular Lattafas, but I rather enjoy it. I think it's pretty good. You see this one at the rack stores for $17. I say roll the dice. If you're looking at cheap fragrances at the rack store anyway, you're looking to roll the dice on a cheap fragrance. So I say give it a go. I like it. During the day, that's what I went with. Out the shower, though, peppered aromatic, a little sweet, still has that beachy tone like the rest of the brand. Tommy Bahama St. Bart's Seascape. I haven't touched this fragrance pretty much since I got it. I wore it like one time since I got it. And it's got that sage, pepper, lavender kind of thing going. It's very fresh and a little peppered. It's not a heavy pepper smell. Some sweetness, soft woods, very fresh, almost ozonic, if you will. I like it. I pretty much like everything Tommy Bahama's put out. I've never smelled a Tommy Bahama fragrance I would call a bad fragrance. They're all pretty good, and this one I would consider pretty good. I don't think it can hold a candle to the original St. Bart's, but for a cheapie, damn good. Damn good option. Temper expectations with performance. These are always eau de cologne. I'm sure this is an eau de cologne as well. They usually are. Why am I not seeing it anywhere? There we go, eau de cologne spray. But for an eau de cologne, they tend to last at least 4 hours. So they got a lot to offer, especially if you live in a warmer climate like I do. Good stuff. Out the shower, Tommy Bahama, St. Bart's Seascape. Moving into Friday, this one continues to grow on me. I still don't think it's one of the better releases of the year. I think it's okay. It's a solid release for them because they tried something different, and it is nice. It's just not special, especially when we're talking something like the Gold over here. For me personally, that's a way better release in the same line. During the day, I went with Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Green Stravaganza. Love the bottle. Love all the green tones and everything. And it's much more mass appealing than you would think when you see vetiver, coffee, and bergamot. It's a lot of bergamot. And it smells like a coffee and a tea bag mixed together at first. And it does dry down a little creamy and sweet. And it's nice. It's better than good. I don't think it's a bad release at all. But when you look at the plethora of designer releases this year, this doesn't crack the top 10 for me. Unfortunately. I don't even think it would crack the top 15. I feel like it could have been better, but it definitely could have been a lot worse. It's not a bad release. It's just not phenomenal. But it's designers. Most of the time, you're not going to get phenomenal. On occasion, you get phenomenal. But it is solid. It is solid. Any of you that like coffee notes, prominent coffee notes and fragrances, you owe it to yourself to give it a try. Just don't go into it looking for the best coffee fragrance you've ever smelled, and maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised at what you actually get. Whereas if you look at it as, oh, this is the coffee fragrance I've been waiting for, you're probably going to get disappointed. So definitely sample first. Again, solid release. I'm glad I have it. It was nice to wear. I will wear it again. Just, doesn't wow me. Solid nonetheless. During the day, green Stravaganza. Love that bright green hit. Then when I got the shower, it'd be real easy with the trigger because it's a freaking aerosol can, so you bathe in it whether you like it or not. Wife loved it, so I was filling the entire apartment after I showered. I went with Bad Boy Power Up Spray from Carolina Herrera. This is $15. It is Bad Boy plus grapefruit. It's better than Bad Boy, but look, see that? God, that smells good. But just that little tap was that big old mist. Because if I hold it, it'll keep spraying. It's pressurized. So you can get the testers on the internet. It comes with a cap. That's all that matters. See, it's got a tester sticker for $15. Now look, this isn't going to last that long because they put so much juice out when you spray it. But it's better. It's still an eau de toilette. It still lasts. It projects like crazy for about an hour. Like, it's really freaking strong in the first hour. This really is. This will choke you out. Fresh eau de toilette is what it states. It is, oh yeah, very fresh. It's literally as simple as take Carolina Herrera Bad Boy, the cacao sweet, sweet designer, kind of generic sweet designer, but cacao focused. Now add a hefty dose of grapefruit, a non-acidic grapefruit. Here you go. Now pressurize it in an aerosol can. It smells incredible. It really does. For $15, this is a no-brainer buy. Anywhere's around $15 to $20. Yeah. Maybe buy more than one. If you're gonna use it a lot, you'll run through it pretty quickly. I would think. I do like it though. Those of you that like to keep a fragrance in your gym bag, this gives the effect of a body spray, but it's an eau de toilette designer fragrance. A good one too. So just throwing that out there. This like dwarfs any body spray, blows it out the water in performance, in profile, in smell, in quality of ingredients, and it's like double the price of a body spray. Body sprays, decent ones like these Old Spice ones are like what, $6, $7? 15. Way better. Way better. This is a no-brainer buy right here. It just really is. Out the shower. Bad Boy Power Up Spray from Carolina Herrera. And finally on Saturday, I sprayed it during the day. I gave myself a few more sprays out the shower. Hell, I wore it the next day, which is the recording of this. It was yesterday because it's Monday morning. On Sunday, I wore this as well. So Saturday and Sunday to start next week's rotation video, I went with Eros Parfum from Versace. I was just in the mood for it. So ambery, wife loves this one as well. So did the, I don't even know what to call them, with the blue vest at Walmart when you do the self-checkout. The people that oversee if you have an issue. I don't even know what to call them. They're not cashiers, but the lady that came put the sticker on my case of Diet Dr. Pepper is like, oh, you smell nice. Literally, it's, oh, you smell nice. I was like, oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was the entire interaction, but it was a compliment. It does count. Eros Parfum. So this is, surprisingly, when it opens up, I find it's a little more chemically synthetic than the other versions. But after a few minutes, when you let it smooth out, it dries down, it's way smoother. It really is, as the Parfum flanker should be. I get more amber and woods out of this. I get a hint more spice, but I still get all that apple, aromatic, mint, vanilla. Still get Eros. Still smells like Eros. And is it exactly what I thought the Eros Parfum flanker would smell like when I first got it? Not exactly, but it's not far off either. But it is much more amber accord forward. It's a warmer Eros for sure. But, if you have either of the EDT or the EDP, it's redundant. Having all three is just a to-do, not a need. It's a want. If you have EDT, you don't need Parfum. If you have EDT, you don't need EDP. If you have EDP, you don't need EDT. If you have EDP, you don't need Parfum. If you have Parfum, you don't need that. You see what? You just need one. Just got to figure out which one's for you. It's kind of like Bleu de Chanel. You don't need more than one. That's why I only have the Parfum. Kind of wish I had the EDP, but I got other things that smell like it. Same thing here. The only reason I have all of the Versaces is because they're not as expensive as the Bleu de Chanels. You can get... This fragrance is the most expensive of the bunch. It's in the $70, $80 range for 100 ml, but EDP, EDT, you can get around $50, $60. They're not crazy expensive. If you have one, you basically got all three of the main concentrations. So it's worth checking out. Just know that, let's say you have the Eau de Parfum, you don't need this. You really don't. It's not a big enough difference. There's nuance changes from balancing, basically, but it's the same fragrance. It really is. They just kind of rebalanced and reformulated and manipulated a little bit here and there, but they didn't change it much. Very subtle changes that you got to look for. It's Eros at its core. More amber forward. I like it, though. I like it. I don't like it more than the EDP, but I do like it more than the EDT. It's solid. So during the day, out the shower, Versace Eros Parfum. If I could get it to focus just one good time. There we go. And we're done. Well, that was this past week's rotation. I appreciate you guys checking the video out. And until next time, make sure to like, comment, subscribe down below. Turn on all notifications, all that good stuff before you leave. So when we do these videos, you'll get notified, hopefully. YouTube will do their job and actually notify you guys the video came out. That'd be nice, right? And once again, I appreciate you for watching the video. And I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all have a good one.